Everyone wants a better life, but very few are willing to change one small thing to start it. We dream of speaking fluent English, waking up confident, or finally breaking free from old habits. But here's the truth. Nothing changes if you don't change. Hi, my name is Anna, and welcome to English Cactus. Today's lesson is not just about language, it's about life. You'll see how studying English in small steps can unlock more than grammar. It unlocks growth. So before we start, make sure you grab your free PDF in the video description. It follows this lesson and helps you study English in a way that feels natural and fun. I suggest using the shadowing technique. First, just listen to the story. Let it sink in. Then go back, pause after each sentence, and repeat it out loud. Try to match my rhythm and tone. This habit is simple, but powerful. You'll learn to speak more clearly, more confidently, and more like a real conversation with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe, and in the comments, tell me, where are you from? Now grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Sometimes, you wake up and feel like the day already knows what it's going to be. You reach for your phone, you scroll, you swipe, you watch one video, then another. An hour goes by, and you tell yourself, today, I'll do something different. But then, nothing. You keep moving, but not really forward. It feels like running on a treadmill, busy but stuck. This is what we call a loop. And the hard truth is, if you change nothing, nothing will change. People often say, I want to study English, or I want to learn something new. But wanting alone won't move you. You have to act, even if the action is small. One new word a day. One short sentence spoken out loud. You don't need to be perfect. You need to move. It's not the size of the step that matters. It's the direction. You can scroll aimlessly for hours, or you can pause, breathe, and say, let me study English for just 5 minutes. That moment, that choice, changes everything. The real problem isn't laziness, it's guilt. We feel bad for not doing more, so we do nothing. We stay stuck because trying feels risky. What if we fail? What if it's hard? But let's flip that thought. What if 5 minutes today leads to something beautiful tomorrow? What if starting now makes next week easier? Guilt grows in silence, but growth begins with sound. Try saying something, anything. I'm learning. I'm changing. Speak it into existence. Let's make it practical. Imagine this. You open YouTube, and instead of watching a random video, you play one short English lesson. Just one. Maybe you write down 2 new words. Maybe you repeat one sentence 3 times. That's it. That's learning. That's progress. When you study English in small, honest ways, it doesn't feel like school. It feels like self-care. And the loop? It starts to loosen. You step out of it, not with a giant leap, but with a whisper that says, I'm ready now. There's a secret here, one most people don't talk about. Change doesn't come after. Motivation. Motivation comes after change. When you do something, you feel different. You see proof that you're not stuck. You're becoming. And this quiet power grows. So if the loop feels strong, just remember, one step, one word, one breath, that's all you need to begin. But what stops us from making that first move? That's where the next part of our journey begins. Change sounds like a great idea until it knocks on your door. That's when your mind whispers, but I like the way things are. Even if you feel bored, unfulfilled, or stuck, there's a strange comfort in doing what's familiar. That's why scrolling feels safer than speaking a new language, or why saying I'll start tomorrow is easier than opening your notebook. We resist change not because we're weak, but because our brains love safety more than growth. And safety often looks like the same habits, repeated every day. Let's be honest. Learning something new, like trying to study English, can feel uncomfortable at first. You might say the wrong word. You might feel slow. You might sound different from what's in your head. That's normal. Every change brings discomfort before it brings freedom. Think of a seed. It cracks before it grows. The fear isn't proof that you should stop. It's proof that you're on the edge of something real. And real growth always comes with a little tension. Most of us don't even realize how we avoid change. We stay busy, checking messages or cleaning the same drawer. We say we're tired. We scroll for just 5 minutes. But underneath all of that? Fear. The fear of not doing it right. The fear of failing. And maybe the biggest one, the fear of becoming someone new. Because when you study English, when you learn anything, you're not just changing what you know. You're changing who you are becoming. Here's a gentle truth. You don't have to fix everything at once. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to start. One small move, one small sentence. Instead of saying, "I'll never learn," try this. "I'm learning slowly, and that's okay." Instead of, "I can't speak English," try, "I'm studying English every day." Language is not a test, it's a muscle. And every time you use it, even if it shakes, it grows stronger. The most powerful shift you can make isn't in your routine, it's in your thinking. What if, instead of fearing change, you welcomed it like a guest with a gift? What if every mistake was actually a sign that you're moving forward? These are not just questions, they are the beginning of a mindset shift. And when your mindset shifts, everything else follows, especially your next steps. What if I fail? What if I sound strange? What if people laugh? These questions show up all the time when we try something new. But here's a better question. What if something amazing happens? What if, by saying just one sentence in English, someone understands you and smiles? What if studying for 5 minutes today makes next week feel easier? The way we ask questions changes how we live. Instead of fearing what could go wrong, start imagining what could go right. That shift, right there, is where real growth begins. People often think change needs to be big, like moving to another country or spending hours with a teacher. But the truth is, small changes create big results. You don't have to study English for 3 hours, just 5 minutes of repeating a phrase, just listening to a short video, just reading a menu in English instead of your language. One change, one choice, done daily. That's what rewires your brain. That's what turns "I wish" into "I can." Let me give you simple ideas you can try today. Take a deep breath before speaking English. That breath tells your brain, it's safe to try. Go for a short walk while listening to an English podcast. Let the rhythm of the words move with your steps. Say one new sentence out loud while brushing your teeth. It sounds silly, but it works. Or just swap soda for water. Why? Because when you prove to yourself that you can choose different, you start believing it in other areas too. Mindset isn't something magical. It's built like muscle. Every time you speak with courage, even if it's quiet courage, you build mental strength. You don't learn by waiting. You learn by doing. And when you study English this way, not to be perfect, but to participate, everything changes. You start feeling more free, more open. Not because everything is easy, but because you're no longer waiting for permission to begin. Once you shift your mindset, action starts to feel lighter. You begin to notice small wins. I understood that word. I said that sentence. I didn't freeze this time. These little victories become your new normal. And speaking of small wins, let me tell you a story. A real one. One that starts with just 5 minutes, a pair of headphones, and a tiny decision that changed everything. I remember the day I stopped pretending I needed a perfect plan. I was tired of saying, "Next Monday I'll start," and never starting. So I did something different. I picked one simple thing, 5 minutes. That's it. I found a short English video, put on my headphones, and just listened. I didn't take notes. I didn't pause. I just listened. The next day, I did the same. And slowly, something started to shift. I didn't feel overwhelmed. I felt free. Because for the first time, I wasn't chasing perfection. I was chasing progress. At first, I didn't notice any change. But then, during a trip, I heard someone say, "Can I help you?" And I understood it instantly. That moment felt like magic. Not because I had studied for hours, but because I had created a habit. I didn't just study English in theory. I lived it, little by little. I had trained my ears, trained my heart. 5 minutes a day made my brain feel safe. And when your brain feels safe, it opens up. I didn't stop there. I began to repeat sentences out loud. I shadowed the speaker. I whispered when I was shy. I spoke louder when I was confident. Some days, I made mistakes and laughed. Other days, I felt like giving up. But I kept going. And here's the secret. It stopped feeling like effort. It became part of who I was. I wasn't just trying to learn English. I was becoming someone who learns. That difference changed everything. If you're reading this and thinking, "That won't work for me," let me say this. I used to believe the same. I thought I needed more time, more energy, a better brain. But I didn't need any of that. I just needed to start. You can do this. 5 minutes. One phrase, one choice. Do it today. Study English like you brush your teeth, not to be perfect, but to take care of yourself. That's how real habits grow. That's how confidence is born. Now let's zoom out. Why does this story matter? Because it proves something important. You don't need motivation to begin, just movement. And when you repeat small steps, day after day, they stop being steps. They become your rhythm. They become your lifestyle. But how do we build a rhythm that lasts? That's what we'll explore next. Let's clear something up. You don't need to be intense. You need to be consistent. That's the golden rule for any real change. Think about a river. It doesn't cut through rock by force. It shapes the stone through gentle, repeated movement. The same goes for your journey to learn. When you study English a little each day, it adds up. You don't notice it at first, but your brain is listening, adapting, becoming stronger. Consistency always beats intensity. Always. So many learners give up because they expect fast results. They study for 3 hours one day, feel exhausted, and then stop for a week. That's not progress. That's pressure. Real learning is gentle and forgiving. You can miss a day. You can make mistakes. You can say, "I don't know." What matters is that you return, that you show up again. When you study English with patience, you're not just building skill, you're building identity. Here's something most people don't say out loud. Progress is messy. You'll forget words. You'll pronounce things wrong. You'll feel stuck sometimes. But none of that means you're failing. It means you're learning. The mess is the process. Every time you stumble and keep going, you send a message to your brain. This matters. That's how habits are. Born not from perfection, but from repetition. That's how fluency begins to grow. There's a quote I love. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. That's powerful. Because it means success isn't about being lucky or gifted. It's about your daily choices. Want to learn English? Then choose to study English today, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just repeating one phrase. That tiny act tells your mind, "This is who I am now." And the more you repeat it, the more it becomes true. And now, it's time to breathe, to pause and reflect. Because in the quiet moments, we realize change is not about force. It's about faith. Faith in the small steps. Faith in who you're becoming. So let's take a deep breath together. and ask a question that could shift everything. Let's take a deep breath together, in and out. Sometimes we forget how powerful one moment of stillness can be. In a world that's always pushing, pulling, rushing, you need space to pause. So right now, just ask yourself, what's one small change I can make today? Not next week, not someday, just today. Maybe you'll open your notebook. Maybe you'll say one English phrase out loud. Maybe you'll just decide, today, I begin again. That's where all change starts, in quiet decisions like this. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. Learning is not a straight line. It's a spiral. You visit the same lessons again, each time understanding them more deeply. When you study English with this mindset, the pressure fades. You no longer feel like you're chasing perfection. You realize that showing up, even imperfectly, is enough. That belief will carry you through the hard days and make the good days feel even sweeter. Now I want to invite you into something special. Action. What is one thing, just one, that you can do today to move forward? Could you listen to an English podcast while cooking? Write 3 new words in a notebook? Say a sentence before bed? Don't aim for big, aim for honest. Your progress is personal. And when you start making daily choices, your life begins to shift quietly, gently, beautifully. I want you to leave a comment today, not for me, but for you. Write one small thing you plan to do. Share your story. Share your struggle. Share what you want to become. And when others see your words, they'll feel less alone. That's the beauty of this space. We learn together. We study English not just to speak, but to connect. Your voice matters here. Don't wait until you're fluent. Speak now, from where you are. So here we are, at the end of this lesson, but maybe the beginning of something bigger. You've made it this far, and that means something. Don't let this moment fade. Grab your coffee. Open your heart. Make that small move. And let's keep learning together, because even the quietest steps echo when they come from someone ready to change. Now let me ask you something real. How many more days are you going to wait before taking that small step? You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to do one thing differently today. Say one sentence in English. Watch one video. Write one goal. The version of you who feels confident, fluent, and alive. That person starts with today's choice. Because the truth is simple. Nothing changes if you don't change. So, what's the one small thing you will change after watching this video? Let me know in the comments. I read every one of them, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. And if this video helped you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, we can keep learning together, one real step at a time.